Our keynote speaker this evening is Trish Gordon. Trisha Gordon is a visionary entrepreneur, author, and advocate with over 30 years of experience in the public and nonprofit sectors. She currently serves as Chief Growth Officer for a child welfare nonprofit and previously held leadership roles at the United Way of Greater St. Louis, Missouri's Children's Division, and Lutheran Family and Children's Services of Missouri. A former foster youth, Tricia draws on her personal journey to champion innovation, resilience, and purpose-driven leadership. She is the founder of Gordon Visionary Journals, Gordon Visionary Publishing, and Gordon Consulting, building ventures that inspire, empower, and create meaningful community impact. Tricia is a lifelong mentor and advocate, serving on several nonprofit boards and volunteering with organizations such as Girls in the Know, Marion Middle School for Girls, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Missouri, and the National Black MBA St. Louis chapter. She is passionate about guiding aspiring entrepreneurs and empowering young girls and women to realize their potential. When not working, she enjoys fitness, reading, creative writing, travel, and family time. Let us welcome to the stage Tricia Gordon.
Good evening again, everyone. As my introduction said, my name is Tricia Gordon. I pronounce it as Tricia or Gordon, and the R stands for redefiner. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. First, let me extend a huge gratitude to the YWCA and for this outstanding annual event. We do have our own version on the St. Louis side, so I'm very familiar about the Women in Distinction Award event. So it's an honor to be here. So I thank the leadership of the Y. I thank Desiree for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to be here and be present, and first and foremost, just to celebrate with the ladies and just to be in the presence of so many great honorees. So can you all give them a round of applause again? I know they haven't been acknowledged yet. But more so, it's always a pleasure for me to be present and tell my story. And I always consider that a great honor because we all have a story to tell. But unfortunately, there's so many of us who will not get a chance to tell our story on a stage or tell our story in a way that everyone gets a chance to benefit from that as much as possible. So one of the things that I lean into with being on this stage and many others is I want to encourage as many people as possible to tell their story. In addition to being inspiring and encouraging and just sharing my journey, my ultimate goal is to really empower women and individuals of all walks to just take action. And as I can stand up here and tell my story, no matter what my situation or previous situation may have been, we all have a story. So keep that in mind. And again, before I start, I want to ask a question, and this is not something that you need to say out loud, but just ponder. Have you ever had a moment in your life when someone else's courage changed the entire direction of your story in a given moment? Tonight, as we celebrate the power of her, I stand before you as living proof that the power of one woman can save a life. And I'm on a mission. Every day of my life until the good Lord calls me home, one word at a time, my goal is to save a life. Before I ever stood on a stage, before I even created a journal, before I even told my story, before I even realized I had a story to tell, there was someone in my life who was making a difference. Women that I did not even know, and many women to this day that I will never get a chance to tell them or thank them for the impact that they had on my life. But I'm gonna do the best that I can today to give some women from my past and my current present a little distinction and honor in my own way. These women, in most cases, may not have even known that they were shaping my life. They simply chose to be compassionate, be courageous, and care when it mattered the most. You see, of course, my story didn't begin on a stage. My story began with me fighting for my life. I was born and raised in St. Louis to a teenage mother who struggled with alcohol and drugs, and she was a victim of domestic violence. By the time she had me at 18, she had already had her first baby at 14 and already had miscarried or had a stillbirth prior to me by the same gentleman. I entered this world at 5.5 months with an underdeveloped brain, set of lungs, and heart. Doctors told my mother that if I did live, I would never be able to talk, I wouldn't be able to walk, and that I would need someone to care for me for the rest of my life. Yeah, I don't know who that doctor was. But there was a woman in that hospital that believed my life had purpose. A nurse cared for me for more than 4 months in an incubator, and really with some of the most fragile days early, she was the one who gave me my name, Trisha. You see, I was left at the hospital to die. My mom had already lost 3 babies prior to me, as I shared, and they basically told her, this baby won't make it. So as a teen mom, she abandoned me at the hospital. But again, this nurse saw something different, cared for me, and because I was born on St. Patrick's Day, which is just a few days away, she saw fit at that time to name me Trisha. And if you don't know the history of St. Patrick's Day, in honor of the St. Patrician, Trisha is an Irish name. It means to be loyal, committed, and dedicated to what you do. How befitting in a name. That was the very first experience with the power of her. A woman who chose compassion, a woman who chose hope, and because of her, I am here today. At the age of 11, I was rescued from a house fire, and I'll save you all the glory details of what led up to that, but just know that I had a really rough journey, my first 10 years of life. A neighbor made the call to protective services after that house fire, and shortly thereafter, I entered foster care at the age of 11. Once again, the power of her appeared in my life. For nearly a decade, women came into my life who helped shape the direction of my future. Whether it was my mom who carried me for 5.5 months, my foster mom who kept me in her home for nearly a decade, that school counselor, that upward bound mentor, that English teacher, that French counselor, that math teacher, that case manager, that court commissioner, that cheerleading coach, that therapist, the list goes on and on. But each of these women embraced the power of her. Whether they realized they were doing it or not, they embraced the power of her and poured something meaningful into my life during some of the most precious years of my life. They may never have realized the impact that they were having at that time, but because of them, I am alive, I survived, and I continue to thrive. But when I transitioned from foster care into adulthood, I faced something many former foster care youth experience. The one system that saved my life, and Lord knows, it saved my life to be placed in foster care at 11 years of age. That very same system almost crippled me and sent me spiraling mentally and emotionally out of control because I was not ready, as I thought, to be let go from a system that had given me a wealth of supports for nearly a decade. But because I was of age and was on the cusp of adulthood, 18, 19, they said, it's time to go. So mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and the list goes on, the weight of my experiences nearly sent me on a downward spiral. And for a moment, I found myself wrestling with my story. All of the opportunities that had been afforded me while I was in foster care at that time really did not mean anything because the weight of the unresolved issues with abuse and everything that I had gone through before I was placed in care came tumbling down on me like a ton of bricks. Trying to make sense of the pain and the trauma and the uncertainty as I transitioned into adulthood, it was just something that was so hard to bear at a very young age. But I made a decision. It wasn't overnight. It took about a year. But I made a decision and I grappled through that decision, but what I would do was not let my story break me. I would not allow the story to break me in a way that I could not be built up. And so during one of the most difficult seasons in my life, as I prepared to transition into adulthood, I found myself leaning in and reflecting on one single word. And in some stages, I'm gonna go a little slow as I speak because I know you're not taking notes, but when I start to share some of the components of what it means to be a redefiner, there may be some things that you wanna capture. I leaned into the word foster. I was at a point where the one word, foster care, the one word, the one thing, the one phrase that had impacted my life, that had saved my life, mentally, I could not hate or despise a system that was making a very, very tough decision for me, but had been so supportive, right? Just sit with that. How could I hate them at such a critical time? So for years, while that word has described my past, or had described my past, I decided to redefine it. So the question I asked myself and pondered with for over a year was, since foster care is no longer an option for you, how do you find opportunities that will strengthen, teach, empower, restore, and or release what you need to move forward in your life when you are stuck? And when I tell you I sat with that word, that redefined word, for nearly a year, and I lived into that, and I constantly asked myself that prompt every single day until I fell in love with the word foster. But in every one of my settings, school, my job, my community, I use that lens to look for those individuals, such as my foster mom, such as that former teacher, who had been impactful in my life. Who on your job can be supportive? Who is that trusted adult that you can lean more into? But that became a framework to this day, more than 30 years later, in how I still live my life. So when Desiree asked me to be the guest speaker, and this was like last year, I want to say, it was a while, I do what I always do on a daily basis. Even as I interact with folks, I will say, how is that opportunity, right? How is fulfilling that opportunity going to strengthen you, teach you, empower you, restore or release what you need to move forward. That is my foster framework. It is a forward-thinking, decision-making tool for me. But when the Lord got a hold of me, I got some believers in the room, when I went through my spiritual experience about 5 years ago, it shifted. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But now the lens is, how do you show up and help others find and fulfill opportunities that will strengthen them, that will teach them, that will empower them, that will help release or restore whatever may be keeping them stuck and bottled down when they know they have to move forward, when they have to push through, whether it's a marriage, whether it's kids, whether it's a job, whether it's their finances. How do you help them move forward? And so for the past 30 years, what I have done and what's been one of my keys to success is being able to take more than 100 words and redefine them each and every time I face a challenge in my life. So my overarching foster framework, I still stand on the foundation of foster to this day. There is nothing that I do in my life on a daily basis where I do not confer with the foster framework. It is a positive tool in my life, and that is the first tidbit that I leave with you all today. It's not a word that I own, it's just something that God blessed me with, but when I tell you it moves through my life, it is a way of life, but it truly helps shift the mindset. So as this framework has moved through my life, as this forward-thinking decision-making tool, it's a reflective tool as well. Just as I can think forwardly with it, I also can say, as I pray at night and reflect, I will say, Tricia, did you find or fulfill any opportunities today that did not strengthen you, that didn't teach you anything, that was very disempowering, that did not release or allow you to be fulfilled in some way? Did it drain you? And those are opportunities that I choose not to pursue, or there may be individuals attached to those opportunities. So not only is it a forward-thinking tool for me, but it's a reflective tool. And the message is, that is just an example of how I have really leaned into, just by the grace of God, of being able to turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone. I lean into a word, I redefine it, and I constantly live with that word, typically about 30 days, until my mindset is shifted. So as a redefiner, I use redefined words to redefine my situation and ultimately transform my life during some very difficult times. But now I have the ability to help others use that framework and hopefully redefine their situations and transform their lives one word at a time. So I've been in this space for nearly 30 years, and more than 100 words have been redefined under the foster framework. Each challenge becomes easier and easier for me because I have a whole host of words that I can lean into to really make it through those unique spaces. Each and every time I lean into the framework, I find myself redefining another word, but also putting myself in a position to be supportive and help the next woman redefine her situation one word at a time. I'm really fortunate that I have been put in a position to be able to use my voice, my presence, and the gift from God to really take my practice that was something that I kept really personal and dear to me. But what I learned is God didn't give me these words to hold on to for life, for myself. These were really words that were loaned to me. They were words that were intended to be gifted to me temporarily, but then my goal and my job is to release these words and share it with others. I think of when my pastor is sharing different things with us during Sunday service, he always talks about the fruit, right? And we know how important that is. But I remember one sermon he was speaking on just how fruitful we are with our lives and what we're truly doing. And I literally imagine an apple tree being full of red and green apples, but not being able to eat its own fruit. How many apple trees have you seen picking from their own tree and eating their own fruit, right? We pick from the apple trees and we enjoy the delicious fruit. And when that fruit has been picked, what happens? Eventually that tree will produce more fruit. And I realized holding on to the words was not what God intended me to do. And as a result, being able to share the words through the Gordon Visionary Journals allows me to redefine even more words. And that is the gift that I want to be able to share with you all as well. This has also strengthened my mental well-being. It's given me a great deal of resilience. It's given me a great deal of courage. And it's shifted the entire trajectory of my life, but more importantly, it's shifted my mindset and how I approach my day-to-day. So when I think about the theme, the power of her, this really, really got my attention. I had no conversation with Desiree or the Y about what their theme was going to be. It was the first question I asked. What's the theme and who is your target audience? My common questions. Well, years ago, I redefined her. My persona is redefined her, if you didn't notice. And the last three letters are H-E-R. And through my storytelling, through my inspirational messages, through my redefined words, I'm always focused on ensuring that I can help folks be heard, be empowered, and really be renewed. But you can make that R whatever you want it to be. Renewed, revived, re-energized, rejuvenated, whatever the case is, you have the power to be able to do what you need through your voice. Empower, that is a word that I redefined probably about a decade ago. We all have the ability, men and women, to really lean into our power. This has nothing to do with your strength. It has nothing to do with what you can lift. It has nothing to do with how much macho-ness you may have. But for me, power is, are you truly acknowledging the fact that you are positioning oneself to withstand, embrace, and receive what is in store for you? So whether you believe in God, whatever he has in store for you, or if you just believe in the universe in general, you all have the ability. The power of her is so impactful. But when I lean into that theme and being able to understand if we have what we need to really lean into that, and the Foster framework does that for me. I can say you all have the power in you, but we're not in a space that we truly live into it. We may not feel like we have the power at all times. We may not feel like that we can do what we know we're called to do, but as a reminder, you can. Words are powerful. Words can wound us. Words can heal us. Words can even imprison our thinking. But more importantly, they also can set us free. Through this journey of redefining words, because my personal practice was for me, as I thought, it was my time for reflection, growth, and resilience. Eventually, that practice morphed into the release of the journals. And these journals have become more than just pages for myself and folks who embark on those journals, but they're also companions for you as you seek to redefine your life one word at a time. And so as I think through some of the words and those reflective prompts, I want to share a couple of them with you because the goal is to encourage folks to pause, think differently, and rediscover their strength, one word at a time. Because sometimes, even during a reflection, whether we're seeking a moment of clarity, or if we're just trying to really change the direction of where we are in our life, you can realize that if you lean into the power of where you are, whether it's writing, whether it's vocalizing what you're feeling with someone, whether it's engaging in a particular activity, the goal is to lean into the redefined word until you ultimately see the change that you want. Again, when I think about the power of her, I think about something that's a little bit more deeper than what we see on the surface. And I'm going to share a couple of words that really lean into that power of her. I mentioned several women, and I can't list them all, of course, who have continuously impacted my life in all different walks despite their title. And I want to share one of my most impactful redefined words. It's called You Rock. And rock, in every sense of the word, means exactly what it is, a rock. It represents strength. It's something that we see when we're out and about. It can do damage, but I'm gonna look at the softer side of it. It is the ability for us to pause and recognize others that we connect with and who have kept us grounded. Very similar to what we call mentors. It's also the ability to pause and recognize others that you can connect with and help keep them grounded. This is where we step back and serve as supports for mentees, folks who may need us to be a mentor. The other one is recognizing the outlets that you connect with that help keep you grounded, whether it's your family, whether it's your job, your church, just your community, whether it's service, whatever that may be for you. And the last one, and this is just my personal favorite, is recognizing that God is the ultimate rock of all. And without having a connection to Him and the Word, it's really hard to lean in, being a mentor for others, seeking mentors, and even giving the homage to the outlets that you're able to move about. And so I say all that to say that everyone in here has the ability to serve as a rock. Whether you want to take on that responsibility or not, you rock. And I'm gonna just give you all that title. But let me share this poem with you as I prepare to close. For simply making it out of bed each day, you rock. For those who feel unappreciated, unseen, overlooked, you rock. For the sacrifices you've made in silence, the ones nobody has even clapped for, you rock. For sacrificing for people who wouldn't even sacrifice a thing for you, you rock. For not listening to the haters, the doubters, the naysayers who said you couldn't do anything, you rock. For not believing the lies that said you'd never be anything in life, you rock. For the days that the devil has tried to steal your joy, amen, but you put your foot on his neck and you say, not today, you rock. For those carrying a heavy heart and a tired mind, burdened by disappointment, illness, grief, and the unknown, you rock. For the days when you have had enough and when all you can do is pray your way through it, my God, you rock. For every time you drop to your knees to pray for others, including the ones who wouldn't even pray for you, you rock. For making a shift, for choosing growth, for evolving into who you are today, you rock. But remember this, you are who you are today because of the rocks that were placed in your life. Every trial, every test, every moment you didn't quit. So be a rock for somebody else, my honorees. Stand when they are weak, shine when they can't see. Give the gift of a rock, because if nobody told you today, you rock. It is my pleasure, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Trisha Gordon. Obviously, you rock. Thank you for that enhancing and empowering message. At this time, if I could please have the Josephine Marley Beckwith Future Leader Scholarship Chair, Dr. Dorothy Mosby, Woman of Distinction in the class of 2023, and Stacy Heron, Woman of Distinction in the class of 2022, to come to the stage.
Good evening. Josephine Marley Beckwith Future Leaders Scholarships. YWCA empowers young women through the Josephine Marley Beckwith Future Leaders Scholarship, honoring Mrs. Beckwith's dedication to education and equality. Mrs. Beckwith, a pioneering figure in civil rights, was the first African American employed at the Olin Matheson Corporation and the YWCA of Alton, and dedicated her life to community service. The scholarship, established in 1991, supports high school senior girls in pursuing higher education, focusing on leadership, volunteerism, and academic achievements aligned with the YWCA's mission. As a result of her life of activism, Mrs. Beckwith was named a YWCA Woman of Distinction in 2002.
Thank you, Stacy. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the committee for the Josephine Beckwith Scholarship. When I call your name, if you're in the audience, could you please stand up? Lori Bachhold, our president. Is she here somewhere? Okay. Yolanda Crockwell, Jason Harrison, Barb Paisley, and Al Womack. There were several applicants, and they were all talented, but we chose two, and we will introduce them now.
If Heaven Everidge could come to the stage. Heaven Everidge is a senior at Alton High School who maintains an exceptional GPA while dedicating countless hours to community service that supports the mission of the YWCA. Passionate about mental health advocacy, she plans to pursue a nursing degree with the goal of becoming a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. Heaven is a dynamic student leader serving as the president of the National Council of Negro Women Alton Youth Section, Youth Dance Ensemble leader for Three Purple Coats Productions, cheerleading captain for both JV and varsity, sports editor for journalism, and a link crew leader and student council advisory representative. And I added, and a fourth year Upper Bound student, because she's mine. She is also active as an AACE student leader and assistant copy editor for the Tatler. Heaven's many honors include membership in the National Honor Society, the Senior Scholar Award from the Illinois Cheerleading Coaches Association, the Silver Medallion Academic Excellence Award, recognition as an Alton Godfrey Rotary Club Student of the Month, NCNW Youth Member of the Month, Varsity Cheerleading MVP for the 2024-2025 season, and consistent placement on the Alton High Honor Roll. Heaven is the daughter of Blaine and Angel Everidge. If they could please stand. Congratulations, Heaven.
The next awardee, Lena Powers, could you please come up? Lena is a senior at Highland High School who has distinguished herself throughout in academic achievement like no other. She plans to major in marketing and pursue a career as a brand manager. Lena is the founder of the Highland High Spanish Club, created to promote cultural awareness and inclusivity while highlighting issues affecting women in Hispanic communities. You have to excuse me, my eyes are not the same that they used to be. She also serves on the senior class executive board and is co-founder, president, and senior editor of the Highland High Media Production Club, while being captain of the school's cross-country team and representing student athletes of the Academic Council. Lena is the daughter of Matt Powers and Angie Hartley. Could you please stand, parents? Oh, I'm not finished. Ranked number one in her class. Yes. Lana has earned numerous honors, including Illinois State Scholar Recognition, Platinum Transportation Student of the Month, Graduation Marshall Distinction, High Honor Roll, and first place in the VFW Voice of Democracy Essay Contest, all while working a part-time job during high school. Congratulations, Lana. Before we conclude, I would like to acknowledge one more recipient for tonight. This is a renewal. Jada Bruce, could you come forward, please? Jada Bruce right now is attending Lewis and Clark Community College for architecture. She is a renewal for this scholarship. And she graduates in May. Thank you. She graduates in May. We have a few more renewals, and I would just like to acknowledge them. If I pronounce their names wrong, please do not tell them because they're not here. Cameron Conwell, Isabella Hall, and Samantha Coolish. Before I turn the mic over to our MC, I just wanted to really just call attention to how important the scholarship is. This scholarship has funded over numerous amount of young ladies, and we just ask that you just help and just acknowledge that they are really working hard, and if you could help out in any way, just make sure that you donate. Thank you so much.
It is now with pleasure that I introduce Mrs. Vernetta Caffey. Mrs. Caffey is an award-winning educator, motivational speaker, and community activist. A native of Denmark, Tennessee, she earned her bachelor's from Lane College and her master's from SIU Edwardsville. She dedicated 36 years to teaching in the Alton School District. And later served 9 additional years as a substitute teacher. Beyond the classroom, Mrs. Caffey has held academic roles at Michigan State University, Lincoln University, and Lewis and Clark Community College, and has mentored students through programs such as Upward Bound and the Alton Success Academy. She is also a respected speaker who has led educational and faith-based workshops throughout the Midwest and South. An active member of Greater St. James Baptist Church, she has served as a deaconess and Christian education director. Her civic leadership includes the work with the NAACP, the Elijah P. Lovejoy Advisory Board, and Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Her many honors include the Emerson Excellence in Teaching Award and the Elijah P. Lovejoy Human Rights Award. As well, she was named the YWCA Woman of Distinction in 2022. Mrs. Caffey is the proud mother of 3 accomplished and amazing sons and grandmother to 7. Mrs. Caffey is in the class of the 2022 Women of Distinction.
Thank you, Latasha. After hearing that, you would think I was an honoree tonight. Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time that you've been waiting for, and it is my supreme honor to present the YWCA Women of Distinction honorees to receive their awards. For this presentation, the buzzword is phenomenal. Maya Angelou wrote, "I am a woman phenomenally." Phenomenal woman, that's me, that's you. And you will discover tonight, after you read the compelling stories of all of these honorees, that all of these honorees are phenomenal women. And you will read and discover that God has placed a seed of extraordinary in them. At this time, I'd like to call to the stage the awards presenters, Tangela Johnson, WOD 2025, and Marlene Lewis, WOD 2024. Honorees, as I call your name, would you please come to the stage to receive your award? I will share some highlights about your achievements as you approach the stage. And once you receive your award, would you please pose for a photo with the presenters, please? Audience, are you ready to meet these exceptional, stellar, award-winning, phenomenal women of distinction 2026? We applaud tonight Lynn Burnett. We applaud Lynn Burnett for using her voice to fight for civil rights, human rights, and social justice. She has joined millions of voices standing up for the injustices we see happening in the world today. Her work is well known for serving the underserved population in our community. She was a key component in the organization of the Alton OWL Project, a shelter for the Alton unhoused community. All of her volunteer efforts are in addition to the many years she spent as a social worker dealing with abused children. She has shown her genuine love, compassion, and concern for all people. Ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Burnett. Presenting Tamika Carter. We applaud Tamika Carter for her consistent commitment to service, her lifelong dedication to strengthen her community. Her initiatives address many issues: women's health and economic needs, back to school initiative, providing free school supplies, hair products, shoes and clothing, free youth and family events, creating safe spaces for connection, mentorship, and positive engagement. Tamika knows that we make a living by what we get, but we make a lifetime by what we give. Ladies and gentlemen, Tamika Carter. Presenting Barb Irwin. Barb Irwin, a teacher in the Alton School District. You know she's dear to my heart. Teachers affect eternity because you can never tell where their influences will end. We applaud all of Barb's humanitarian work, especially her work as the founder of the Alton Third Day program. Let me explain a little bit about that. Barb noted during school breaks that many students lost access to reliable meals. So she started a program with her own personal resources out of her home. The program provides bags of non-perishable food and essential items to students in need during 7 to 8 breaks during each year. The program has now become district-wide, and she has other people that have now partnered with her for that program. A church in Godfrey helps bag the food and all of the other items, and all of the people throughout the district now, as well as far away as Collinsville, Illinois, all help her with that program. All of her work demonstrates her dedication to children, environmental sustainability, and community engagement. Even though Barb is now retired, we know that her love, passion, and compassion will not let her stop because her influences do affect eternity. Ladies and gentlemen, Barb Irwin. Presenting Mary Jason. I must say, Mary Jason is a woman dear to my heart. I won't share all that, how she came about being so dear to me. But Mary is a woman of great resilience, compassion, and dedication. She has displayed personal inner strength, helping others find hope and comfort amidst life's difficult times. Mary transformed her own personal grief into purpose. She is the founder and president of Mothers Unique. Moms obligated to healing, encouraging, recovering support, offering emotional, spiritual, and financial assistance to mothers in the community who have lost a child. Mary knows that God is always close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Jason. Presenting Carol Morris. A phenomenal woman she is. We applaud Carol Morris. She has spent 2 decades serving with steady inspiration, compassion, and community leadership. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Carol has gone into the harvest, empowering women and girls, supporting families in crisis, and creating connections that strengthen the entire community. Her service extends into many organizations across Madison County. Her work reflects a lifetime grounded in family, faith, and service. Her outreach in action, lifting our community to its feet. And she has something else coming. Even in addition to what she's getting tonight, the award that she's getting tonight, the president, our president of the local chapter of Church Women United, our president, Minister Joyce Elliott, is here tonight. And this might be a surprise to Carol, but Joyce, we as a group nominated Carol for another award today, that she will receive the Valiant Woman of the Year award pretty soon in O'Fallon, Illinois, for Church Women United. So it might be a surprise to you, Carol, but you got it coming. You have earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Mars. Presenting Debbie Sherry, another phenomenal woman, dear to my heart. We applaud Debbie Sherry. God gave her the privilege of nurturing the future. She was invested with the responsibility of sharing a portfolio of information with many marginalized students. Her innovative ideas created Operation Outreach, the first night school program in the Alton School District, where she served as the administrator. And I must say, when I worked in that program, Debbie, you were my boss, so you know you're dear to my heart. She has spent a lifetime teaching young people that they can be change agents in their own lives. She has been a great mentor and role model for young people, helping them fulfill their hopes and dreams for a brighter future. Ladies and gentlemen, Debbie Sherry. Presenting Dr. Tandra Taylor. We applaud Dr. Tandra Taylor, Assistant Vice Chancellor and Assistant Professor of History at SIUE, a true historian, a legacy carrier. Her work will impact generations to come. We applaud her work for various initiatives, but especially her significant achievement in the establishment of SIUE Freedom School, a historical literacy and social justice initiative, Southwestern Illinois, and also her work with Jack and Jill of America. And I certainly appreciate that because it's personal to me, because I have children that attend Freedom School and also are active members of Jack and Jill of America. Dr. Tandra Taylor, a legacy through actions. Her work embodies the principle of lifting as we climb. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tandra Taylor. Presenting Kathleen Wilson. We applaud Kathleen Wilson for reaching out with her heart and hands to those in need. Her work extends deeply into volunteer organizations, the RiverBend Head Start, only to name a few, Children's Home and Aid Society, Oasis Women's Center, the American Legion Auxiliary, and the American Red Cross. Her dedication to empowering future generations is exceptional. Kathleen has shown genuine love, compassion, and concern for all mankind. using her great skills and talents, serving her volunteer work in multiple events in the Alton Guthrie area. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathleen Wilson. Presenting Dr. Tracy Webster Cooley. One of my babies, but I have a lot of babies here. But Dr. Tracy knows she's my baby. We applaud Dr. Tracy Webster Cooley, a minister, a professor, a nurse educator, a mental health nurse practitioner, and community advocate. Her outstanding work in the field of mental health is real. Her work supports so many individuals with so many challenges. Her work is not only transformative, but it is innovative and thoughtful. We also applaud her for being a minister, a woman of great compassion, showing others about the beauty and uniqueness of God's creation. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tracy Cooley Webster Cooley. Presenting Beverly Woody. We applaud Beverly Woody for her professional work in multiple areas of healthcare, a licensed school social worker, and an evangelist. She is actively working toward earning her license as a social worker, a clinical social worker, and her PhD in theology. Her life reflects a powerful legacy of faith, resilience, education, unwavering commitment to strengthen children, families, and communities through both professional service and ministry. She has shown virtues of gratitude and love in all of her endeavors. We applaud you. And ladies and gentlemen, Beverly Woody. Presenting Tracy Zerwas. We applaud Tracy Zerwas, a 23-year elementary art educator, for her artistic expression. She is a woman of great creativity, inspiration, and motivation. She also uses her voice as an advocate for social justice, standing up for those causes. Creativity is limitless with her. She unlocks the possibilities within our youth, encouraging them to see the world through an artist's lens, apply their creative skills in various aspects, and most importantly, in their own lives and the hearts of others. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Zerwas. Ladies and gentlemen, you have met all of the 2026 phenomenal women of distinction. They are joining an academy of other phenomenal women. And women, you must remember, phenomenal women are not threatened by other phenomenal women. But it is time now for all of us to unify, celebrate, exhort, and encourage each other. Let's give all of these phenomenal women a thunderous applause. Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel." I pray that we have all made all of these honorees feel mighty good tonight. As the songwriter said, mighty good. I would like now to call to the stage another phenomenal woman, the YWCA Executive Director, Mrs. Dorothy Humble.
I think next year we would need to rework the program so I'm not following Mrs. Vernetta Caffey. She did a fantastic job, and it's hard every year, but give her a round of applause, folks. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. It's truly wonderful to see so many friends, colleagues, and real champions in our community in the room tonight. Events like this remind us that when women support one another, when communities come together, extraordinary things can happen. And tonight we're here to celebrate some truly extraordinary women. Each year this event fills me with gratitude, but tonight I'm especially struck by the dedication, the perseverance, and the generosity and the chutzpah generated by this year's Women of Distinction. And Trisha Gordon, you rock. I first got to know Trisha Gordon during her time at United Way. I remember once trying to reach somebody in the Technical Assistance Division, and at that time I was working on a grant application or some type of report that had a major deadline. And at YWCA, unfortunately, it seems like always those days before those events, things are extremely hectic. And I was trying to talk to somebody, and of course the technical assistance group had shut down and gone for the day. And I was stuck. You know, we are a United Way agency, but those funds from that United Way grant are significant and meaningful. I was desperate. And so desperate in the moment that I thought, okay, I can't talk to anybody in technical assistance. I'm going to try and call one of the higher ups. Well, I remember seeing Trisha Gordon's cell phone number somewhere and thought, and this was late at night, this was after 5. So I made that call to Trisha Gordon, and to my surprise, she answered. She patiently helped navigate the issue late at night so I could finish the application, and simply did this because she wanted to help somebody succeed. She was accessible. That moment reminds me of so many of the women that we celebrate tonight. Most of these honorees are working full-time and serving the community in the hours after work is done. Like Trisha, they show up when they're needed and they continue to work until things are finished. I feel incredibly blessed to be in the company of such extraordinary women. So tonight, on behalf of the board of directors, and I'm here and I get to do cleanup, I wanted to thank all the sponsors who helped support this event. Our platinum sponsors, Caffey Law Firm, Morrissey Contracting Company, and Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. Our friends at Illinois American Water in the back, and they were a gold sponsor. Our silver sponsors, Argosy Casino, Rhonda Cox, and Gwynn Mundorf LLC. And bronze sponsors, Busey Bank, Bickle Electric, and IBEW Local 649. We're deeply grateful to the many advertisers and the donors for this event, and I'd just like everybody to give me a round of applause and help thank them. A special thank you to our Women of Distinction Committee. And this committee is led by Rhonda Cox and Desiree Caffey, and I'd like you to come up and receive a small token of appreciation from us. One other thing that's worth mentioning, the decorations this evening are absolutely lovely, don't you think? And we had our friends at Moment Makers, which is really Rhonda Cox and Christy Mosby, put together this evening's decorations, and I think they did a fantastic job. So I'd like you to give them a round of applause. I would like to ask, are there any elected officials here tonight, or have they gone? Okay, somebody had asked me to recognize any officials. Okay. Anyhow, now I'd like to acknowledge the Women of Distinction Academy members who are here tonight. This remarkable group of women come from many fields and backgrounds, but they all share something powerful in common. They're the doers, they're the change makers, and they're the leaders. And oftentimes the quiet forces working behind the scenes to strengthen our community. And our theme this year, The Power of She, truly reflects the spirit of the women gathered in this room. And at this time, I'd like to ask all the Women of Distinction honorees, and this includes our 26s, to please stand and be acknowledged. Everybody up. You need the exercise. Come on. Thank you all for being here each year. So many of you just show up regularly, and it just, I truly feel like my heart is full when I see all of you. At YWCA, our mission is simple, but it's powerful. Eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all persons. Through programs like our Child Enrichment and our Bright Futures after-school program, children receive academic support, social emotional learning, and a safe place to grow and prosper. Our youth programs, Girls Circle, Boys Council, Beyond Basketball, Alton Boxing Academy. These programs help young people build resilience, leadership skills, and we provide meaningful connections with mentors. And through our racial justice and civic engagement initiatives, we have Diverse Story, Heart and Soul Racial Solidarity, book talks, community collaborations, and our many Get Out the Vote initiatives. We continue to do the important work of building understanding and strengthening our community. For over 100 years, YWCA has been a place where people can gather, they can learn, grow, and I think this is really key, belong. Strong communities don't happen by accident. They're built by people who care enough to show up, to take that call after work, to lead, to serve, and to lift others along the way. And tonight, looking around this room, I just see so many of you people here. This year, on to something new. This year, the Women of Distinction Committee decided to set up a new award. And we're calling this award the YWCA Women of Distinction Impact Award. This award recognizes the past women of distinction who's continued to support the YWCA in an exceptional way long after receiving the honor. The Women of Distinction community is filled with remarkable leaders, truly. But every now and then, somebody comes along whose commitment, whose wisdom and generosity leave a lasting mark on the organization itself. Tonight, we're honored to recognize someone who's done exactly that. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Gail Donnelly-Bader. was named Woman of Distinction in 1998. And in the years, she's continued to exemplify what it means to lead and to serve. She served on the YWCA Board of Directors from 2015 to 2020, and she was in the role of board president for 2 years and board treasurer. And once she termed off the board at 6 years, which makes me really sad. She continued to serve as an ex officio board member, and she is one to this day. She's been active in the governance committee, and that's a challenging committee to be on, advocacy committee. She's co-chaired the Women of Distinction Gala event. She chaired an event we had, Race Against Racism. She supported candidate forums and Get Out the Vote initiatives, and helped guide the YWCA through 2 sometimes painful planning processes to create our strategic plan. She coordinated the powerful What You Were Wearing exhibit, which was a survivor art exhibit. And this exhibit installation challenged harmful myths about sexual assault and it had the opportunity for meaningful community dialogue. In addition to her true volunteer leadership, she's been a loyal and generous supporter of YWCA. And on a personal note, and she was on the YWCA selection committee for an executive director 10 years ago. On a personal note though, Gail's been absolutely indispensable to me as executive director in my 10 years. She's been someone I can always call, thoughtful, steady, wise, and ready to help problem solve whenever it's needed. That kind of support truly means more to me than I can express. Gail's continued commitment reflects the very best of the Women of Distinction Academy, women who lead, serve, and inspire long after the award itself has been received. So please join me tonight in celebrating Gail Donnelly Bader, the very first recipient of our YWCA Woman of Distinction Impact Award. Where'd she go? Okay, and I'll close my speech with this, and I have one other thing to do. The work of YWCA, empowering women, supporting children, and building a more just and caring community is only possible because of people like you. People who believe that when women lead, when communities stand together, and when we lift one another up, real and lasting change becomes possible. Thank you for being part of our extraordinary community and for helping ensure that the work of YWCA continues to change the life for generations to come. So that's the end of my speech. But I have one more thing to do. I would like, Latasha LaFleur Porter, Mrs. Vernetta Caffey, Dr. Stacy Heron, Miss Deborah Pitts, and Lori Bachholt to come to the stage. We have a small token of appreciation for these lovely women. It's been a wonderful night tonight, and each person's helped contribute, so I'm deeply grateful. Thank you, ladies. Can we get a picture? So somehow I'm up here without my program agenda, but I think at this point I turn the microphone back over to Rhonda Cox. Thank you, and Desiree Caffey. Thanks, everybody. It really is great to see you all here tonight. It's my pleasure.
Good evening. How's everyone tonight? Good, good. Like Dr. Dorothy, I need the glasses because my eyes just aren't what they used to be. I'm Rhonda Cox, Chair of the WOD Committee 2026. Alongside me is my counterpartner, Mrs. Desra Caffey, who's the co-chair this year, but has chaired for the last 3 years. I think I chaired with you for the last 2. I can't really tell the difference between the co-chair and the chair because it feels the same. On behalf of the YWCA, we want to take this time to recognize our raffle sponsors: Rhonda Cox, the WOD Committee, Moment Makers, the YWCA Board of Directors, and Dorothy Hummel. Your contribution to the raffle prizers, your sponsorship means so much to us. It has a huge impact and impacts others' lives. So we want to take this time to thank you for your generous donations.
I would ask that Ms. Deb Hicks come back to the podium for our benediction. This was a very, 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 very beautiful evening. I know everyone is ready to go home, so I will not keep you too long, but I would just like to say, gracious God, as we leave here, may we carry the spirit of excellence and joy from this ceremony. May all of us use our talents to serve others and continue to grow in wisdom. May peace, courage, blessings remain with all of us. Have a safe trip home and good night.
The YWCA and the Women of Distinction Committee would like to thank you for your attendance and support as we honor the Women of Distinction honorees as well as the Josephine Marley Beckwith Future Leaders Scholars. Congratulations again to everyone. Thank you and good night.